27. 65-yarder from Aubrey is up, and it is good! 65 went off the NFL record.
Hey, what's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to another First and 10 presented by JCPenney. I'm Nicole Hutchison, and I've got a lovely guest here in the studio with me, Cowboys All-Pro kicker Brandon Aubrey. Brandon, and actually also he's a author as well, too. I have to make sure I say that. We're going to get to that in just a second. But how you been, man?
I've been good. It's been a whirlwind. Season feels like it's flying by. Each day feels like it kind of goes by before I can blink.
It really has gone a lot faster than I expected now that we're already in week 16. But I do have to talk about week 15 against the Carolina Panthers. Was it your decision to go for that 70-yard attempt?
It's never really my decision. I try to keep myself out of the decision-making process for field goal, punt, whatever it is. I just wait for my name to get called. If they call my name, I'm going to go out there and kick the ball. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to go and break a record. Ideally, better situation for it, be inside or just better elements. But, you know, anytime you get a chance to go break a record, you got to go take that chance.
Obviously, and that's something that Mike McCarthy actually said, too. If it was indoors, man, probably could have nailed it. Could we see that possibly this week against the Buccaneers?
Anything's a possibility. Again, like whatever they send me out to kick, I'm going to go kick. And inside, I feel a lot more confident making that one.
Obviously, we've seen your confidence grow too since you stepped into the NFL in 2023. But I've got to talk about the success that you've had. I mean, you talk about 2023 All-Pro, Pro Bowler in your first season, led the NFL in field goals, and then you look at this season in 2024, and you became the first kicker to make more than 10, or at least 10 plus 50-yard field goals in the season. Then you made history in the Cowboys record books of kicking a 65-yarder. How would you describe the success that you've had so far?
Yeah, it's just the start, hopefully, of a long career. But very thankful to play for Bones. He's been incredible for me. He's incredible for all the guys that play under him. He's a guy that has incredible confidence in his players, and he cuts it loose and lets the guys go out and play with confidence. And then if anything goes wrong, he takes the blame. He's the first to step up in front of us and take the criticism from the media, from all the external sources. So to have that as a kicker, knowing if I go out and miss a kick, especially going out for a 70-yard kick, it'll draw a lot of negative criticism for making that decision. But Bones is the one who will step up and take all the blame for it for us and show up the next day, the same guy, smile on his face, and keep inspiring us to go out and play with confidence.
How much has Bones meant for you and your growth in the NFL?
Yeah, it's been incredible for me. Without him, I know specifically playing soccer, without someone like that in my life and on my coaching staff, you know, I played a little bit scared, tentative, nervous, and didn't give myself the ability to put my best foot forward. And that's what I'd say the best thing about playing for Bones is he just lets you know you're here for a reason. You've got all the talent that we need. You're able to do what I ask you to do, and I'm not going to overcomplicate your task. Just go out there and do this one thing, do it fast, and if you make a mistake, oh well, you'll get it on the next time.
It's kind of crazy hearing you say fear is a big part of you, because I remember listening to the Amazon Prime story on you, and you had said that fear was a big reason why you feel like you didn't succeed in soccer. How much do you feel like that's propelled you to want to exceed in the NFL?
Yeah, absolutely. Just sitting back after my career had come to a close and reflecting on what I did that made me successful and what I did that limited my success, that was the number one thing for me. That was my only regret at the professional level, was not just going out there and playing free, giving me that. I mean, we have a word for it in the special teams room that's not really kid appropriate, so I won't say it, but it's just that mentality to go out on the field and say, screw it, I'm going to do my best, and if the results aren't what I want, then I'm going to keep going until they're exactly the way I want it to be. So I took that really into my training for football and took it with me onto the field, because you know, you still feel the fear, but you learn to deal with it, and you learn that if you focus on it and let it control you, then you're not going to be able to perform.
So how have you stayed free every kick? Because I do remember you telling me as well during Cowboys hours that you kind of focus at every kick at one kick at a time. So how do you stay so free-minded?
Yeah, breathing techniques are a big one. Help limit or bring the heart rate back down when you start to creep in and feel the fear or the anxiety of going out and performing a task, because you can feel it coming a mile away as a kicker. So just focusing on my breathing, and then as I'm getting on the field, I've got a specific process that I follow. I talk myself through exactly what I'm doing all the way until I've kicked the ball, and with that, there's no room for any emotions or any thought of the outcome. It's all process.
That's good to know. You don't really think about that. Wow, that's insane. When you talk about the season, though, in a season like this year, where there's been so many ups and downs, so many challenges, specifically offensively, and obviously in a different state right now, but at the beginning of the season, really struggling to score points. Do you put more pressure on yourself when you know that you have to be the one to go out there and score points for this team?
No, I never really thought of it that way. It's I got a job every time I step on the field, whether we're winning by 28 or we're losing by 10. You know, you gotta put good film out there. Every kick counts the same in the stat book, whether you're losing by 3 with 3 seconds to go and you need that one really bad, or if you know you're up by 20. But you're locked in the whole time, no matter what. It's not a switch I have to flip, because the pressure is there for kickers every time you step on the field, whether or not, regardless of the score, or the way the game's going.
Pressure's there, but your confidence is
Yes.
certainly there to help with that. How much does it help you for your confidence in terms of knowing that you have a head coach that believes that they can just get to the 50-yard line and send Brandon Aubrey out there to nail a field goal?
Absolutely. Just like bones, it trickles down from the head coach as well. Just knowing that the whole staff has my back and believes in me and knows that I'm going to make it. Kind of, you know, it calms the nerves. It helps you not really think about it, because when you've got the added pressure of, if you miss this kick, you don't know if your job's going to be there next week. That just amplifies the fear or the anxiety. So to not have that breathing down my back, it's awesome. But you know, things change at the flip of a dime. So if stuff starts to go downhill too fast, you know, that's always a possibility.
I like what you said there. Things change at the flip of a dime. I want to go to your story because it's unique, and I feel like everyone has to obviously keep talking about it. Because you played soccer in Notre Dame, then you get drafted first round in 2017, and then that doesn't work out in the way that you wanted to, but then you go and clock in as a software engineer.
Yes.
And then your wife, Jennifer, says, I think you can go play football and be a kicker, right, in the NFL. And I think that's actually kind of unique, because now you want to share your story at a national level, obviously be an author now. You have a children's book called One Dream in Front of the Other. Pretty nice title there as well.
Thank you.
Why was it so important for you to connect with the youth in writing a children's book?
Yeah, as a kid, I always looked up to athletes and listened very closely to what they said in interviews. And I always had a goal of being a professional athlete. And I think kind of describing to the kids that every path to get to the pros is different. You got guys like Terp that have been all over the world playing football, and it wasn't until like his 6th or 7th league until he made it to the NFL. So he's got a great story as well. And I just wanted to throw my story out there and let kids know that even if you fail in one thing, it's not the end. You've got other things you can pivot to. And even at some point, football is going to end. I'm going to have another pivot to make. So just wanted to kind of let kids know that even if you make mistakes, or if you have fear that's holding you back, it's not the end of the road.
What was the process like, and just the whole behind the scenes and things like that for the book?
Yeah, so I've been working very closely with the team at Kraken. Got a guy helping me write, and a girl helping me do the illustrations. Now, I'm not very artistic, so when I say helping, I mean doing the
They're doing it.
illustrations. Yeah,
Got
I'm
it.
just giving some input, and she sends me sketches and asks for approval, and then I say maybe change these details a little bit around, and then sends it back, looks great, and we're good to go. But yeah, I shared my story with Kraken, and they loved it, and they started taking my words and putting it into paragraphs,
Yeah.
you know, the rhyming paragraphs you see in most children's books, and then kept going back and forth with me on like specific wording and timelines and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's easy when it's your story, so you kind of know exactly the direction you want it to go. I don't know if it would be so easy doing somebody else's story, but for me, it's been a blast.
What's been the most favorite part about this whole process?
For me, it's given pictures of my childhood to the illustrator, seeing her turn it into beautiful artwork that's fit for a children's book.
Okay, well, we do promoting here on First and 10, okay? So where can Cowboys Nation find the book, and tell us also when pre-sales are gonna be out?
Yeah, so you can go to krakenbooks.com for pre-orders. There's a link on my Instagram, one of the posts. I should probably put it in my bio, to be honest. But,
come on, Brandon!
Get with the times. But pre-orders go through Christmas Eve, and anyone who pre-orders, we're extending it out that I'll autograph it personally before we ship it out.
That's pretty dope. Go ahead and get your orders. Christmas Eve, that is in about, what, weeks or so? Christmas came by so freaking fast. All right, is there gonna be a part 2?
I do not know yet.
Ooh, okay, look at me trying to dig into deeper. All right, what are some lessons that you learned along the way? Because this is a book that obviously you want to show kids and inspire them that, of course, their journey can be a little different.
Yeah, just along your path, always take note of what you're doing well and what you might not be doing well, and kind of reflect on that and game plan for how to either improve or just pivot to something else, and just be kind of aware of where you're at and be honest with yourself, and know what your shortcomings are and try and work on them, or just go somewhere you don't have to deal with those. That's the biggest thing for me, and it's always been a big part of my life, and I think that's why I've been able to pivot so successfully.
And you're having some success with the Dallas Cowboys in your second season. I do have to ask, I know you're very humble, that's why everyone loves you here, but do you consider yourself as the best kicker in the NFL?
That's a tough one. You're never on the field with another kicker at the same time.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe I'm the best kicker in the NFL, but that's a hard one to judge because our opportunities are so few and far between. And no one gets the same opportunity as the next guy to compare apples to apples. So it's tough to say. I'd like to say yes, so leave it there.
Do you think, or how much success do you feel like you can have in this league? How much more success?
I don't see any reason why I can't keep going down this path and just keep being a part of a successful team. And the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl here in Dallas, so hopefully we can get that done.
All right, well, you guys heard it first. Cowboys Nation, okay? Brandon Aubrey wants to win a Super Bowl just like everybody else here in suiting up in the Dallas Cowboys uniform. All right, Brandon, thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's a wrap for First and 10, presented by JCPenney. We will see you guys back here next week.